Yo guys, Coach Theo here on Common Sense. Today, when the time of the day when I usually record a video came, I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to talk to you guys about. I was looking over my list of video topics and ideas, and there are many great ones that will be made, but I just wasn't feeling any of those today, But, like a blessing, someone showed up here right before this and commented on a video and asked about training fasted. And that's something I get asked about quite frequently, but never truly made a video about. It's been on like live streams and such. So let's do that. Today, I'm going to tell you exactly how it works with fasted training, whether it's more or less optimal for burning fat and building muscle, whether that's something you should be doing or not. And I'm going to tell you exactly how I approach it too. But also, guys, this is going to be a video about thinking big picture, okay? Think for yourself, first of all. Like, you can listen to me, but you gotta think for yourself at the end, right? But think big picture. You're gonna see what I mean, okay? So let's start with the fat burn part, because that's the most common question. Like, does fasted cardio burn more fat? Will I lose weight faster if I do my cardio fasted? So guys, when we perform different kinds of activities, it's gonna vary a little bit depending on the activity, where we get our acute source of energy from. Like, the energy sources we have here to tap into are, of course, the stored body fat, but also the glycogens in the muscle and liver, right? And so different kinds of activities, the ratio of what the energy source we use is going to be slightly different. Some are going to make us tap more into our fat stores and others into the glycogen stores. And some things it's a little like the first half hour you use more glycogen and then you tap more into fat, and it's going to depend on when you do this too. So fasted cardio, there's been studies on, and when you compare that to people doing cardio fed, it seems to be the case that we tap more into our fat stores when we do the cardio fasted. So great, we have the answer right. You burn more fat for doing fasted cardio, lose weight faster. Not necessarily. Okay, we gotta think big picture again on two levels. Okay, so first of all, we're just looking at what happens right in that moment of performing the cardio fasted. Right in that second, you're burning more fat. But what's just going to happen is that when you go about your day and eat later, the body's going to compensate now by tapping more into carbs than it otherwise would have, right? So, like, looking just at what happened there first, it completely ignored what happens in the big picture. But let's just pretend that it is the case. We actually end up at a netto bigger fat loss for the day if we perform our cardio fasted. But then surely it would lead to faster weight loss. Again, not necessarily, because you might be a person that absolutely hates doing fasted cardio in the morning. Okay, let's pretend that you love it. You can stay consistent with your cardio. In fact, you think it's great. When you do it later in the day, you're well fed, just feel energized, you look forward to it, But in the morning, just never liked it. Like, it's just not the time for you. And you end up, when you've decided though, because you heard that fasted cardio is better, you forced yourself to do this for a bit, but then you just quit because they suck too much. You couldn't do it. Well, clearly, the less optimal fed cardio led to more weight loss, faster weight loss, because that you could actually adhere to, right? Big picture, guys. Like, the same big concepts have to be in place for everyone in order to reach a result. Like losing weight, a calorie deficit needs to happen for long enough in order you to get to your goal, right? But exactly how we go about making that calorie deficit happen, that's going to vary a bit between individuals. And we're going to see this again when we talk about training, right? So when it comes to training fasted, there are two things, because, if you train fasted, it's likely that you do it in the morning, right? And, if the science says anything, it is that, eating just a little bit of carbs even, that will make your performance slightly, ever so slightly higher. Also, our performance seems to be ever so slightly higher when we train later in the day, like after lunch there sometime. Seems to be like we have a little bit more to give than we would have the first few hours in the morning. So great, we know that training fasted in the morning clearly is way less optimal for making gains, right? Again, not necessarily. We have to think big picture now. I actually advise a lot of people, clients, but are just people, to become a morning gym goer, right? Because for a lot of people, they work their 9 to 5 and then they're just tired at the end of the day. They have to go to the gym where it's the most crowded and many times people end up skipping it then. And for a lot of people, they're gonna comply more to their workout plan and actually go to the gym consistently if they do it in the morning. So again, if you go in the morning and you have like a couple of percent less performance, but you're able to go consistently, keep pushing it, that's going to be lead to more gains and faster gains than, if you went fed at the theoretically strongest time to go, if you just end up not going at those times anyway, guys. You see, it's like, again, it's not about the same big concepts have to be in place, but it's kind of like, stop thinking about what's optimal before you can even do the thing, These micro optimizations, but considering if we should do fasted cardio because maybe it will burn a little bit more fat, or training later in the day because we'd be stronger then, that's what you can do when you're already up and running, moving towards where you want to be. Now we can ask, how can we move there faster? First, we have to ask, how do we move there at all, right? And it's not always that everything is the textbook optimal thing in a vacuum for you, right? It's going to be the entire thing. Whatever plan you can comply to is going to be what it takes you there. So I'm going to tell you how I go about fasted training and that. So when I bulk, I always go and train fed, not because I think that I'm going to perform better then, I'm going to be stronger then. No, it's just about, for my overall goal of gaining weight and building muscle, to be able to get in enough food in a day to get there. It's going to be easier for me if I have eaten before I go to the gym. I'm going to feel like I have a lot of eating to catch up on if I put it up too late in the day, right? So you see, I choose to train fed there, but it's not because I think it's going to influence my workout on that day. It's as a whole, that's going to make make it the easiest for me to actually gain weight like I want to. When I cut, I train fasted. Again, not because I think I'm going to burn more fat that way, but because that's the best strategy for me to do the opposite, to go about being in a calorie deficit on a day, feeling the best I can, make it the most likely that I stick to it. If I put up eating till later, it's going to be easier for me to feel all right on that day while being in a calorie deficit. But it's not about whether I think doing my training in the morning burns more fat. You see what I mean? It's like what's optimal. It's not always like when we stare yourself blind at that thing in a vacuum, like I said, it's like what the best diet is the one that works for you. Compliance is the science. All these are great quotes from Stan Efferding, but that's what it's like when you ask yourself, is training fasted better? And this is what I mean. Think big picture, first of all, in your entire regimen, but also think for yourself now. It's not just about what does something in a vacuum do. It's like what's going to make me get there in the end. Do you hate doing cardio in the morning? Well, clearly, just throw that out. It's not going to be the make or break for your fat loss anyway, right? Do you skip workouts? Do you find yourself being too tired when you put it off till after work? Well, stop doing that then. Train at the weaker time in the morning, and you're going to get there, you see. I train in the morning, by the way. I love it generally. I'll say that. For some things, I train fasted just because it feels better in the body. It doesn't have so much to do with like how strong do I feel in my muscles. It's like, for instance, when I train body weight exercise focus workout, it doesn't matter. I just feel best when I haven't eaten when I do that, right? Yeah, it got quite hot. It was not supposed to be like this today. And I'm surprised to see that I'm below 10 minutes. I guess I've been rambling so much. I guess I can actually make points in almost a short format sometimes. But yeah, we'll end it here, guys. It's about big picture. Think about that. Like when you're up and running, when you're actually moving, when you have the big picture in place, then is when we can worry about the little details and micro optimizations. But it's not the micro optimizations that leads to the big goal. It's having the big picture in place, okay? So please leave a comment and tell me what you think. What's your opinion on fasted cardio? What's your experience? Let us know. And comment and like anyway, it all helps support the channel. The algorithm helps more people find their way here, so it's very much appreciated. I do holistic bodybuilding coaching, guys, and this is exactly how I always start out with people, knowing what the big picture is, interviewing the person so I know that how can we structure your routine, so that we get to the big picture in place. It's always a thing. right? So if you are interested, send me a DM or email me. It's in the description below. I'll get back to you, tell you about my different programs. You can pick up my Uncommon Sense bodybuilding ebook too. Have the little coach in the book. Everything about my training philosophy and mindset that goes along with it. Great way to support me and the channel. But if you just want to show a small token of support, you can become a Patreon or a member of the channel, or leave a little super thanks comment. It's very much appreciated, guys. Sunday streams, by the way, every week, 5 p.m. Central European time. Should remind you guys more often. Please subscribe for more content about fitness, fasting, losing weight, building muscle, self-improvement, stoicism, mental health, philosophy, spirituality, mindset. It is a mindset, guys. Think for yourself and think big picture. Compliance is the science. Whatever gets you there, that's what's optimal. Okay, peace.